It's quite startling, really, hearing about colorectal cancer rising so much in younger people.
It really is.
I mean, leading cause of cancer death for men under 50, second for women. It makes you stop and think.
Absolutely. And that's why today we're, digging into vitamin D. There's some interesting research connecting it to colorectal cancer risk.
Okay. What are we looking at source-wise?
Well, we've gone through a big review covering 50 studies published in Nutrients, and also some really compelling data from the Nurses' Health Study.
Right.
The idea is to kind of pull out the key stuff for you, make it clear without getting bogged down in, too much jargon.
Sounds good. So that big review of 50 studies,
Yeah.
what was the headline finding on vitamin D intake?
Yeah, so the main point was a pretty clear link. People who got the most dietary vitamin D, their blood levels were around 80 ng/ml. They had about a 25% lower risk of colorectal cancer.
Compared to those with the lowest levels.
Exactly, compared to those down around 10 ng/ml. It really suggests, something you can potentially change through diet might make a difference.
Wow, okay. A 25% drop just from diet levels. That's significant. But you mentioned the Nurses' Health Study. Was that even more pronounced?
It was, yeah. That study followed people for a long time, and it found women with the highest vitamin D intake had get this, a 58% lower risk.
58%.
58?
Yeah.
Compared to those with the lowest intake. It's a really striking number. Really makes you pay attention to vitamin D.
Definitely. So how does vitamin D actually do this? What's the thinking behind this protective effect?
Good question. It seems to work on a couple of fronts. First off, the immune system. Vitamin D is known to support it.
How so?
Well, it helps places like the spleen and lymph nodes work better, and it gives a boost to your T cells.
Those are the white blood cells that fight things off.
Right. They're crucial for tackling infections and, importantly here, potentially cancerous cells too. A stronger immune system might catch problems earlier.
Okay, that makes sense. Immune support. What was the other angle? You mentioned gut health?
Yes, gut health is key too. Vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium better, and it also strengthens the lining of your intestines, the gut barrier.
The barrier, like a gatekeeper.
Sort of, yeah. It lets the good stuff, nutrients, pass through, but it's meant to keep out harmful bacteria and other things that can cause inflammation.
And if you're low on vitamin D...
Well, that barrier can become weaker, more leaky is a term sometimes used.
Leaky gut.
Exactly. And if unwanted stuff gets through into the bloodstream, it can trigger ongoing low-grade inflammation. And we know chronic inflammation isn't good. It can actually fuel cancer growth.
So adequate vitamin D helps keep that barrier strong and potentially lowers inflammation.
That seems to be the idea, a healthier gut environment.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting how one vitamin connects to these big systems.
It really is. Given all this, how many people are actually low in vitamin D? Is it common?
It's surprisingly common. Estimates are around 35% of U.S. adults are deficient.
Wow, over a third.
Yeah, and it's particularly noticeable in younger adults, that 19 to 44 age group.
So what's the general advice? How much should people aim for daily?
The standard recommendations are 600 international units, or IU, a day for most adults up to age 70, then 800 IU for those over 70.
And for kids?
Infants, the pediatric recommendation is 400 IU daily.
Okay. Now, is it just a case of grabbing a bottle of vitamin D pills?
Not so fast.
Yeah.
It's really important to be a bit cautious. You should definitely talk to your doctor before starting supplements.
Ways that? Interactions.
Yeah, they can interact with some medications, things like certain cholesterol drugs, heart medication like digoxin steroids, even some blood pressure meds.
Good to know.
And also, you can get too much of a good thing. Vitamin D toxicity is real. It leads to hypercalcemia, too much calcium in your blood.
What does that feel like?
Symptoms can be like an upset stomach, vomiting, feeling weak, needing to pee a lot, and in more serious cases, potential bone pain and kidney problems. So moderation and medical advice are key.
Right. So besides supplements, what are the safer, more everyday ways to boost levels?
Well, the classic one is sunshine. Our skin makes vitamin D from sunlight.
How much sun?
It varies,
Yeah.
but maybe 5 to 30 minutes of exposure, ideally between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. on most days, without sunscreen. But you have to be sensible about your skin type and avoiding burns, obviously.
Of course. And food.
Yes, diet helps too.
Yeah.
Think fatty fish, salmon, trout, tuna are great sources. Also, fortified foods like some orange juices and milk, certain mushrooms, yogurt, And don't forget egg yolks.
Okay, let's unpack this. If you're finding this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget there are links in the description below to powerful vitamin D products that can boost your health and performance. Check them out. If you've got questions or a topic you want covered next, drop it in the comments. So, just to recap the main thread here. The research we discussed suggests a pretty strong link, potentially, between having enough vitamin D and a lower risk of colorectal cancer.
That's the main takeaway, yeah.
And it seems to work through helping the immune system and keeping the gut healthy.
Precisely. Supporting those natural defense mechanisms seems to be key.
So the message for you listening is really about being aware of this connection. It might be worth thinking about your vitamin D intake and definitely having that conversation with your doctor about what's right for you.
And it does make you wonder, doesn't it? With colorectal cancer rising, especially in younger people.
Yeah.
Should we be, rethinking the public health advice around vitamin D? Given this potential protective role, is the current recommendation enough, especially for certain groups? It's definitely food for thought.
Here's where it gets really interesting. If you're finding this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe.
Yeah.
And don't forget there are links in the description below to powerful vitamin D products that can boost your health and performance. Check them out. If you've got questions or a topic you want covered next, drop it in the comments.